Cambridge IGCSE Biology 061022 May June 2021. Question number 1. What is the characteristic of all living organisms? Option A. Breathing, which is wrong. All living organisms don't breathe. Circulation, which is wrong. Egestion, which is wrong as well. Sensitivity, which is correct. So the correct option would be option D. Question number 2. The bonobo and the chimpanzee are two closely related species. What is the most accurate method of deciding how closely related species are? Option A. Compare evolutionary relationships of other species, which is wrong. Option B. Compare the base sequences of their DNA, which is correct. Option C. Compare their anatomy, which is wrong. Option D. Compare their morphology, which is wrong. So the correct option would be option B, as the best way is to compare their sequences. Question number 3. Scientists discover a new species of animal. It has a segmented body with two pairs of legs on each segment. To which group of animals does this new species belong? Myriapods have two pairs of legs on each segment. So the correct option would be option D. Question number 4. Which part of a cell makes glucose? Option A. Cell membrane, which is wrong. Option B. Chloroplast, which is correct. Option C. Nucleus, which is wrong. Option D. Vacuole, which is also wrong. So the correct option would be option B. Question number 5. The diagram shows some of the blood vessels and other structures in the human body. The heart is shown, the kidneys, the blood vessels shown are part of same. So the correct answer would be organ system. Option C. Question number 6. A photograph shows a plant cell nucleus measuring 2 mm cross. If the magnification of the cell is 500, what is the actual size of the nucleus? So the size of the nucleus can be found as 2 divide 500, which would be equal to 0.004. So the correct option would be option B. Question number 7. By which process do oxygen and carbon dioxide move between cells and capillaries? So the process is called diffusion. The correct option would be option B. Question number 8. Which process is involved in the uptake of glucose by the epithelial cells of kidney tubules? The process is called active transport, as the concentration is high outside the kidney. Option A. Question number 9. Which element is found in proteins but not in carbohydrates? So the elements in carbohydrates are hydrogen, carbon and oxygen. The elements in protein are nitrogen, hydrogen, carbon and oxygen. So the correct option would be option C, nitrogen. Question number 10. The sequence of bases present on one strand of a DNA molecule is shown. ATT, GGA, CGGT. Which sequence shows the bases present on the opposite strand? So the opposite bases would be T, A, C, C, T, G, C, C, A. The correct option would be option C. Question number 11. Starch is digested by amylase in the mouth, but is not digested in the stomach. What is the reason for this? Option A. All starch digestion is completed in the mouth, which is wrong. The pH in the stomach is not suitable for the amylase to work, which is correct as the pH is too high. Option C, the starch does not stay in the stomach long enough to be digested, which is again wrong. Option D, the temperature in the stomach is not suitable for amylase to work, which is wrong. So the correct option would be option B. Question number 12. Which statement about an enzyme controlled reaction is correct? Option A. During the reaction, the substrate changes into products, which seems correct. Option B. The enzyme is gradually used up during the reaction, which is wrong as the enzyme is never used up during the reaction. Option C. The enzyme is slowly broken down during the reaction, which is again wrong. The enzyme is not broken down. Option D. The higher the temperature, the slower the reaction, which is wrong. The higher the temperature, the faster the reaction. So the correct option would be option A. Question number 13. A plant with stripped leaves was kept in bright light for 6 hours. A leaf was taken from the plant and the chlorophyll was removed. The leaf was then tested for starch using iodine solution. Which diagram shows the result? So, the green strip would change color to blue-black and the white strip would change color to yellow-brown. The correct option would be option A. Question number 14. The graph shows daily carbon dioxide uptake and transpiration by plant Agave americana. The plant is adapted to live in very dry conditions. What can be concluded from this graph? So the graph has CO2 uptake and transpiration on one side, and on x-axis time of the day. Option A. More stomata are closed during dark periods, which is wrong. The stomatas are open during the dark periods. Option B. More stomata are closed during the light periods, which seems correct as the stomatas are closed during the light period, so transpiration occurs at a very low rate. Option C. There is no carbon dioxide uptake during dark periods, which is wrong. Option D. There is no water uptake during light periods, which is wrong again. So the correct option would be option B. Question number 15. Statements 1 to 4 describe stages in the development of cholera. Number 1. Chloride ions are secreted into the gut. Number 2. Osmosis causes water to move into the gut. Number 3. The infected person becomes dehydrated. Option 4. Toxins are produced by the pathogenic bacteria. What is the correct sequence of the 4 stages? So, first the bacteria would produce toxins. So, number 4 would be the first, and then chloride ions are secreted into the gut would be number 2. Osmosis causes water to move into the gut would be number 3. The infected person becomes dehydrated would be number 4. So the correct option would be option C. Question number 16. The diagram shows part of the human body, X and Y. X is small intestine and Y is large intestine. Which statement about organs X and Y is correct? Option A. X absorbs more water from food than Y, which seems correct. Option B. X does not absorb water from food, which is wrong. Small intestine does absorb water. Option C. Y absorbs more water from food than X, which is wrong. Y does not absorb water from food, which is also wrong as the large intestine also absorbs water but at a low rate. So the correct option would be option A. Question number 17. Which sequence describes the pathway taken by water as it moves through a plant? So it goes from root hair cell to root cortex cell, then to xylem, and then to mesophyll. So the correct option would be option D. Question number 18. The diagram shows a plant at different times of year. Stage 1. At the start of growing season, the plant uses the food reserves stored in the bulb for the growth of shoots and leaves. Stage 2. Later in the season, the leaves of the plant photosynthesize and the food reserves in the bulb are replaced. What is the role of the bulb during stage 1 and stage 2? So, in stage 1, it acts as a source, and in stage 2, it acts as a sink. So, the correct option would be option C. Question number 19. How does blood enter the heart? So, the blood enters through the veins into the arteria. So, the correct option would be option C. Question number 20. What is the sequence of organs that blood passes through during one circulation of the body of a fish? So it goes through the muscles, then to the heart, the gill, and then to the muscle. So the correct option would be option A. Question number 21. A child is vaccinated against measles. After a period of time, the child is infected with the measles virus. The graph shows the concentration of measles antibodies in, in the child bloodstream during this time. Which statement is consistent with the information of the graph? So, option A says after the vaccination, the child produced memory cells, which seems correct, as after the vaccination, the antibodies were still present. Option B, the child had passive immunity against the measles, which is wrong. Option C, the measles virus contains antibodies, which is wrong. The vaccination failed to protect the child against measles, which is wrong. So the correct option would be option A. Question number 22. Which sequence of changes takes place when we breathe in? So the diaphragm contracts, the volume of the thorax increases, which is in all options. The pressure in the lung decreases. So option A and option C. The correct option would be option A. Question number 32. Question number 23. What is the link between muscle contraction, protein synthesis, and maintenance of constant blood temperature? Option A. They are controlled by hormones, which is wrong. Option B. They are examples of homeostasis, which is wrong. Not all are example of homeostasis and not all are controlled by hormones. Option C. They require energy, which is correct. All of them require energy. Option D. They require carbon dioxide, which is wrong. So the correct option would be option C. Question number 24. After vigorous exercise, an athlete continues to breathe deeply during the recovery period. During this recovery period, the oxygen depth is removed. Which reaction is used to remove the oxygen depth? So the reaction would be aerobic respiration, and the lactic acid is removed in the liver. So the correct option would be option A. Question number 25. The diagram shows some of the organs in the human body. So organ 1 is the lungs, number 2 is the liver, and number 3 is the kidney. So the question says which row matches the function to the correct organ? Excretes carbon dioxide. So the lungs excrete carbon dioxide. We would mark option A and B. Excretes urea. So we would mark kidney as option B and C. Produces urea. We would mark option B, and the correct option would be option B. Question number 26. What is the result of release of adrenaline? Blood glucose concentration, breathing rate. When adrenaline increases, the blood glucose concentration increases and the breathing rate also increases. So the correct option would be option D. Question number 27. A person's skin looks more red in warm environment than it does in cool environment. Which explanation is correct? Option A. The arterioles supplying capillaries in the skin vasodilate and less blood flows to the skin. So this is wrong. The arterioles supplying capillaries in the skin vasodilate and more blood flows to the skin surface, which is correct. Option C. The arterioles supplying capillaries in the skin vasoconstrict, it is wrong, and more blood flows to the skin surface. Option D. The arterioles supplying capillaries in the skin vasoconstrict, which is again wrong, and less blood flows to the skin surface. And we have two mistakes in option D, so the correct option would be option B. Question number 28. The diagram shows a plant next to a window. The light is coming from the right side. Which statement explains the plant shoot growth? Option A. There is a higher concentration of auxin in the cells on the shaded area of the shoot. This prevents cell elongation, which is wrong. Option B. There is a higher concentration of auxin in the cells on the shaded side of the shoot. This stimulates cell elongation, which seems correct. Option C. There is a lower concentration of auxin in the cells on the shaded side of the shoot. This prevents cell elongation, which is wrong. Option D. There is a low concentration of auxin in the cells on the shaded side of the shoot. This stimulates cell elongation, which is wrong again. So the correct option would be option B. Question number 29. The graph shows how smoking different number of cigarettes for different lengths of time affects the risk of lung cancer. Y-axis shows risk of lung cancer and the x-axis shows number of years smoking. Which conclusions are supported by the data in the graph? Number 1. Smoking more than 20 cigarettes per day always increases the risk of lung cancer more than smoking less than 20 cigarettes per day, which seems wrong. Number 2. Smoking cigarettes for more years increases the risk of lung cancer, which seems correct. Number 3. Smoking more than 20 cigarettes per day for more than 50 years has the highest risk of lung cancer, which seems correct. So the options are option A 1, 2 and 3, option B 1 and 2 only, option C 1 and 3 only, option D 2 and 3 only. The correct option would be option D. Question number 30. The life cycle of hyphids includes both sexual and asexual reproduction. Which statement is correct? Option A. X shows asexual reproduction which produces genetic variation in offspring, which is wrong. Option B. Y shows asexual reproduction which produces genetic variation in offspring, which is wrong. Y does not show asexual reproduction. Option C. X shows asexual reproduction which produces genetically identical offsprings, which is correct. Option D. Y shows asexual reproduction which produces genetically identical offspring, which is wrong. So the correct option would be option C. Question number 31. Modern agricultural methods often use artificial insemination AI to breed dairy cattle. Which statement describes the process of artificial insemination? Option A. Sperm is collected from a bull and frozen. The sperm is later inserted into the vagina of a cow, which seems correct. Option B. Eggs are removed from a cow and fertilized using sperm from a bull. The fertilized eggs are reinserted into the uterus of the cow, which is wrong. Option C. Male and female cows with desired characteristics are chosen to mate, which is wrong. Option D. Embryos are removed from the uterus of the cow. The embryos are frozen and stored for future use, which is wrong. So the correct option would be option A. Question number 32. The transmembrane devil is an animal with 7 pairs of chromosomes in each body cell. The diagram shows the chromosomes in a cell from transmembrane devil. Which statement is correct? So it says the cell has a haploid cell containing pairs of chromosomes, which is wrong. It does not contain pairs of chromosomes. Option B. The cell is a diploid cell with no pair of chromosomes, which is wrong. It is not a diploid cell. Option C. The cell is a haploid cell with no pair of chromosomes, which seems correct. Option D. The cell is a diploid cell containing pairs of chromosomes, which is wrong. It does not contain a diploid cell and does not has pair of chromosomes. So the correct option would be option C. Question number 33. Some statements about mitosis are listed. Statement 1, 2, 3, and 4. Which statements are correct? So statement 1 says cells divide and produce new cells to repair damaged tissues, which is correct. Statement 2 says chromosomes are duplicated and the cell separates to form gametes, which is wrong. Option 3 says chromosomes are duplicated and the cell separates to form genetically identical cells, which is correct. Option 4 says mitosis is used in asexual reproduction, which is correct. So the correct option would be option B, 1, 3, and 4. Question number 34. Coat color in cattle is controlled by two codominant alleles. The genotype CR results in cattle with a red colored coat. The genotype CW results in cattle with a white colored coat. The genotype CRCW results in a roan coat. These cattle have a mixture of red hairs and white hairs in their coat. A mating occurs between a red and a roan bull. What is the expected ratio for coat color in the offspring? So it would be 50-50, and the correct option would be option C, 50% red and 50% roan. Question number 35. Which feature would help a plant to survive in dry environment? Option A says large leaves, which is wrong. Option B says many stomata, which is wrong. It should have less number of stomatas so that less transpiration occurs. Option C says small roots, which is wrong. Option D says thick wax cuticle, which is correct. So the correct option would be option D. Question number 36. What occurs as a result of artificial selection? Option A says antibiotic resistance in bacteria, which is wrong. Option B says disease resistant crops, which seems correct. Option C says presence of roots in cactus plants, which is wrong. Option D says sickle cell anemia, which is wrong. So the correct option would be option B. Question number 37. Which type of energy is passed from organism to organism in a food chain? So the energy that is passed is a chemical energy. So the correct option would be option B. Question number 38. The diagram shows a food web. How many organisms feed at more than one trophic level? So there is only one animal, brown trout. So the correct option would be option D. Question number 39. Bacteria can be used to make human proteins. Which statement explains why this is possible when a human gene is placed in a bacterial cell? Option A says bacteria are able to reproduce rapidly, which is wrong. Option B says bacteria are very small organisms, which is wrong. Option C says bacteria contain genetic material in plasmid, which is wrong. And option D says bacteria have the same genetic code as human, which is correct. So the correct option would be option D. Question number 40. The process of eutrophication begins with the increased availability of nitrate ions and other ions in water. The processes involved in eutrophication are listed. Number 1. Increased aerobic respiration by decomposers. Number 2. Increased death of producers due to lack of light. Number 3. Rapid growth of producers. Number 4. Oxygen concentration in water decreases and more organisms die. So the correct sequence would be rapid growth of producers, then increased death of producers due to lack of light, then increased aerobic respiration by decomposers, and at last, oxygen concentration in the water decreases and more organisms die. So the correct option would be option A. Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe the video.